and good morning, good afternoon, and a very good evening to you, the good and wonderful people of the channel. Hope you're well today, hope you're feeling grand and all's well in your world. Hello there, everybody. I had to adjust my vocal cords there, they were in the wrong place. Dislocated vocal cords. Can you dislocate your vocal cords? Probably. Anyway, hi. Today's vid, PeopleTube, it's kind of like a double-headed video, if you will. I have been sent 3 brand new pedals from my very good friend, Mr. Hubcap John, who makes some of the best pedals I've ever played, especially Fuzzes and Treble boosters. The man's a genius. He sent me these 3 new pedals, and I thought what I'd do today, PeopleTube, instead of just kind of like showing you the pedals, I thought I would explain how I set amps and pedals when I get them for the first time. So, like, the only one I've only played one of these pedals so far, and I haven't really gone into a crazy depth with it at this point in time. So these are kind of like sight unseen. So I'm going to talk about like how I set the amp for individual pedals, because all these pedals are different. One's a fuzz, one's a treble booster, and one's like an amp kind of preampy kind of like thing. I'll talk a bit more about what they are in a sec. So I'm going to talk about that. It's all going to be on room mic today as well, PeopleTube. We're not going to mic up or anything like that. You're just going to hear the room sound, which in all fairness I prefer anyway. I find sometimes miking up can be a bit sterile. And also another thing that with the room mic as well, I can talk about exactly what I'm doing as I'm doing it as well. So, we're going to use the Marshall Master Reverb 30 today. I just got this back from my brother. I forgot how much I love it. It's literally one of the best Marshalls ever made, bar none. I'm going to use my ST62 Strat, which is just there. And these are the pedals. So, number 1 is the Doctor Strange Fuzz. Can you guess what that is? Yeah, I'm sure you can. So, it's basically just a fuzz pedal. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you, like, you know, how I've set the pedal and how I set the amp for that. Pedal number 2 is the Fallen Angel. This is basically a treble booster. I'll show you how I set that. And, well, fuzzes and treble boosters for me kind of like have one setting, and that's everything on full whack. A really cool thing about this one that Hubcap John said is he's wired the PCB board the wrong way around. So with the dials like this, that's full up and that's off. So it's actually technically backwards. And in all fairness, I quite like that. More pedal companies should start doing it the other way just to confuse people. It'd be hysterical. So that's like a treble booster. We've got 3 dials on this one. We've got a boost, a range, and a heat dial, and a freeway switch on the top that does all sorts of things. So let's just talk about what this is. So this is a modified version of the Catlin bred Naga Viper. I don't know how you'd say that. I'm guessing that's how you say it. It's an EQ switch, works in conjunction with the range dial. So the EQ switch works with the middle dial down here. The heat knob is the boost knob is self-explanatory. Obviously, it does boost things, and the heat knob is interesting as you turn it up, it acts like an original range master. So that's interesting. So the boost knob on this side is kind of like a range master, kind of gives you more, so to say, which is always good. Okay, so again, I set amps differently as well for treble boosters, and I'll talk about that when we get to it. So every single one of these pedals, I will set the amp differently, and I'll talk about that as we go. And I hopefully won't have to do any edits, so we can just do this straight through. Okay, so the last pedal, which looks really, really cool. Although Hubcap John actually is he's got a design for this, but I actually think I really like this. So I don't know how we'll be able to see this, PeopleTube, in the light, because it's, again, massively silver. This is called The Dude. The Dude-Reno, a.k.a. The Dude. It's basically The Big Lebowski, if anybody's seen that film. So what this pedal is it's based on an old Supro amp, very mild overdrive, inspired by an old Supro. Really kind of warm, mild. It's basically an overdrive pedal, basically. And you've got a boost here that's actually called Walter. Again, if you've seen Big Lebowski, you'll know what that means. So, and again, I'll be setting the amp totally different for that. So, fuzz, treble booster, overdrive. That's basically what with a boost. Okay, so that's what we've got. So, let me show you what we've got going on with the amp at this point in time. So, we'll start with the fuzz pedal. Okay, so the fuzz pedal is the easiest one for me, really. So this is what the Marshall itself sounds like at this point in time. fuzz, that's too clean. I would not ever run a fuzz into an amp that's clean. That's that clean. Too many vats. It's just not the way I like to hear fuzz. I mean, some people really like that. Me, myself, personally, I really don't. It's a really... I don't know how to word it. It's too harsh. You know, I find fuzzies don't really... I don't like the sound of a fuzz into a clean sounding amp. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send the amp into an overdrive. Not full out distortion, just like a nice overdrive. So, at this point in time, this amp is a single channel amp, people of the tube. So we have a preamp, which is basically like a gain dial, master volume, treble, middle, bass, presence, and reverb. What I'm going to do is I'm going to boost up the preamp. I might have to turn the volume down as well because I don't want to kill the camera. But so I'm going to boost up the preamp to about, well, it's about 3 o'clock. That should give me overdrive. Yeah, and I'm going to turn the amp down because that's loud, man. Still too loud. We'll get there. Yeah, there we go. So that's kind of right amount of distortion that I want. Well, overdrive, if you will. I don't really... I could go one extra. I might go one extra, but I think the fuzz pedal will sit over that really nicely. It's too bright, though. When I kick on the fuzz... Because I've got the presence quite high. I've got no treble on the amp bar, by the way, so no treble. When I turn the fuzz on now, it's going to accentuate the presence, so that's coming way down. I'm going to turn that down to about 10 o'clock. No, even more. Don't like it. That's better. So that's about as far as I go with the amp. Just get it overdriving, just so it's compressing, and then I can kick in the fuzz. And fuzzes only have one setting. You turn everything to 10. What's all this turning it down nonsense? You don't do that. You just turn it to 10. You turn it on. Yeah, that works. So that's it. You know, like I say, if I put the presence back to where it was, this is going to be quite bright now, and I'm not going to... I mean, for some people, I'm sure that'd be great, but for me, that's just too much. Too much on the fizzy side. I don't like it at all. I like me darker sounds. So, that's what we're doing there. So, another thing is, fuzzies, I like them when they clean up. So this one should actually... Works a treat. So now, Boocher, if I show you what it would be like if I ran this through a clean. So I'm going to put everything back to kind of where it was when the clean sound we had before. This is what the fuzz will do. It probably won't sound too bad through this amp because it's actually I'm going to clean it up even more. Because it's a single channel amp, it'll probably kind of... Okay, so probably about there. So that's where we had it. So now it'll probably just jump and just be a bit nasty. Yeah, I don't like it. It's not responding in that really nice, dark, fuzzy way when it's clean. I could probably even clean it up even more and show you what I mean. So, too loud. About there. So you can see the levels go out the window as well. So this is the amp, and then you put the fuzz on, it just goes through the roof, which means you have to turn the fuzz back, which is just illegal in my world. So I like it a lot more when you have to drive the amp for fuzzy. I don't like running fuzzes into a clean amp, so that's what I would do. I would go for a darker kind of sound, because I find that, like, you know, when you kind of crank up the gain, amps get brighter, so you want to accommodate that by cutting the EQ down. So anyway, so that's how I'd run a fuzz. That's how I check every fuzz that's ever sent to me and what I ever play. Is literally plug them in, turn them all the way up, because again, like I say, it's illegal to turn them down. That's the way it should be. And basically overdrive the amp. No cleans, no semi-cleans, literally AC/DC style overdrive. Okay, so yeah, so that's how I would do that, Poochie. And this is where I run fuzz all the time. I don't ever run a fuzz into a clean sound. I mean, if people have been around on this channel long enough, you'll know I don't do that. I don't know why I unplugged my guitar. I really didn't need to do that, did I? I need to unplug the pedal. So yeah. That rules as well. What an amazingly awesome fuzz pedal. So that's the Doctor Strange fuzz, which is literally one of the coolest looking pedals ever. Look at that. How ridiculous is that? Peter Sellers. Can't go wrong. So let's move on. So next pedal is the treble booster, the Fallen Angel treble booster. Now, this is a pedal, again, if I was using a treble booster, this would be an always on pedal. The fuzz pedal I'd probably turn off and on. But if it's a treble booster, this is a pedal I would leave on all the time. And again, treble boosters for me, I'll just turn them all the way up, and that's the way it's supposed to be. So, oh, there is a light. I was like, where's the light? Interesting. Oh, by the way, this amplifier has an amazing ability to pick up not only German radio, but American radio. So if you start hearing German voices or American voices coming out the amp, that's probably what's going on. Anyway, very strange. So, treble boosters. Amp back to where it was at the beginning. So, I'll just let you know the settings. I've got the preamp set at 12 o'clock, so straight up. I've got the volume, which fluctuates, so there's no point in me telling you where the volume is. It just goes all over the place. No treble. Middle is at 2 o'clock. Bass is all the way up on 10. So cranked to the teeth, basically. So it's about, I don't know, 5 o'clock. Presence at this point in time is at 1 o'clock, and I have mid at, the reverb, at 11 o'clock. So, it's definitely picking up something at this point in time. Anyway, so that... That will not work with a treble booster. Let me show you. So, it's just too much of a volume spike. There's something very interesting going on. It's just too much, and I don't like it. It just jumps into oblivion. And it's not really unity either. So what I would do here, PuberTube, is kind of the same thing as the fuzz. So we've got in some buzz from somewhere. I don't know where that's coming from. Oh, the pedal's on, you fool. I'm a clever boy. Okay, so what I would do is kind of the same thing with the fuzz. I would then crank the amp up to about, overdrive mode. So basically turn the preamp up to about, where the amp just starts to break up. Again, AC/DC kind of thing. And this time what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn all the presents off. And I'm also going to lower the bass as well. Actually, no, I'm going to leave the bass on full whack. Sorry, I do apologise. I want the amp kind of dark. Because when I kick in the treble booster, it's going to brighten it up. So, and also, because the amp's overdriving now and compressing, as soon as I kick this on, I won't have any fluctuations in volume. It'll be fine. I think my power supply is a bit dodgy, people with tube, because it's acting the go. There we go, that's better. My power supply is acting up. I don't know why. Just is. Oh, yeah, it really is. Get in there. Okay, so this is the pedal off. Pedal on. Again, I don't want it to be really bright, because if I put the presence back up, it's going to be quite... You see, it's going to be shrill. So I don't want that, because it's a treble booster. It's going to boost the high end. It's why people like Brian May and Rory Gallagher, when they use their treble boosters through their Vox AC30s, go through the normal channel of the amp, because the normal channel of those amps are very, very dark. So they... You know, when you stick a treble booster through it, it brightens it up, gives you that lovely kind of like sparkle, but never gets too harsh. Whereas if you were to plug the treble booster into the bright channel of an amp, it's just going to absolutely rip your face off. So yeah, so that's basically the principle I apply to treble boosters. Is I want the amp fairly dark, dark and overdriven, and then the treble booster basically just kicks it over the edge, but brightens it up, just makes it really smooth. I just find treble boosters really pleasant when they kick. And again, a treble booster allows you to kind of leave it on all the time and do anything from your guitar. So if I turn my guitar... That's how I would run a treble booster. And again, like I say, a pedal like that is a pedal that I'll leave on all the time. I would just basically dime the pedal out and just ride the volume control on my guitar. And that's what a treble booster gives you. It gives you such range. Like, you know, kind of the same as a fuzz. But I would say, I would say it's the same as a really good fuzz pedal. When you turn the volume down, it gives you those really kind of like crystally kind of clean sounds that are just gorgeous. And this one does that, and I didn't expect anything other, to be honest with you. It sounds amazing. So let me just have a check of the different EQs on this thing. So I'm going to leave the pedal flat out, because there is no other setting. I had the EQ switch in the middle at that point in time, so I'm going to put it down. So that's in the middle, this is down. More bass, more low end. To the middle. That middle setting's absolutely amazing. And then put the switch on. Even more low end. Cool. So what happens when we start changing the range? So when the range is all the way up, it kind of, with the switch up, it's really fat and we can thin it out. It's almost like a cocked wah kind of thing, that is. It'll have a low end return. I'll tell you what though, I love it when you've got the EQ switch in the middle and everything basically cranked to the T. That's my kind of distortion as well. Another thing I like, when I'm going for like a distortion sound, I like it to be palm mute really nicely. I got it from Jerry Control. It's Jerry Control's fault. But I like to be able to palm mute and it have that kind of percussive but clarity. And again, with treble boosters, I like it when they clean up. Because then you can kind of get everything from like really clean to kind of like a bit more overdriven to full out. Love that sound, that is wicked. Okay, so that's how I'd run a treble boost. Like I say, amp, not really doing a great deal, just kind of like overdriven but very, very dark. So when you kick on something like a treble booster, it just kind of brings up the highs in a really nice way and just basically pushes the amp over the edge. All kinds of yes in that pedal, I tell you, that is amazing. So that's the Fallen Angel treble booster. Again, that's how I'd set the amp. That's how I'd set the pedal. So that's just wicked. So I'm going to put the amp back now to kind of where we had it at the beginning. Back to that kind of clean kind of sound. Yeah, neutral kind of clean sound. And we're going to go to the last pedal, people tube, the Dude-erino, or the Dude. Okay. Oh. Wow. Let's turn it off. It's on. Okay, so I really like the way this pedal looks. It looks really cool. So this is an overdrive pedal now. Okay, so basically I'd be using this as kind of like maybe an always on pedal as well. Maybe. But this would go over a clean sound like the one I've got. Plug the amp in, Dave, you idiot. So that's the sound I've got here. That kind of thing. That is kind of pretty much where I'd run an overdrive pedal. So let's turn it on and have a go. So I'm going to set the volume and the drive. Well, I'm going to turn the drive all the way up because, again, I'm a gain junkie. I can never get enough. And I'm going to set the volume at 12 o'clock and see what happens. Okay. Okay, so I'm guessing I need the EQ in. So we've got treble and bass as the EQ side of his pedal. So I'm going to just set them to 12 o'clock. So I'm going to crank the pedal up. So I'm trying to find unity level now. So this is what I would do with overdrive. I want it to be the same level. Well, a tiny smidgen bit louder than the clean sound. And to do that, what I normally do is play like the D and the G, so it's a fourth, and then turn the pedal on. So around there. So the pedal, I've now got the pedal set at 9 o'clock. Drive is all the way up. Treble and bass are at 12 o'clock. And because this is based on an old Super amp, I wonder if I turn up the treble all the way, it'll overdrive. Which is something the old Supros did. Well, saying that, it's something that old amps do. Cranking everything to the max just kind of like makes them go and work well. So that's now. So we've got the volume at 9 o'clock. Drive, treble, and bass are cranked to the teeth. So now we've got this three-way switch here, which is I don't really know what it does, but there's the letters D, M, and L on it. So I'm guessing it's deep, middle, and low. I don't know. So at this point in time, we're in the mid, the M setting, which is the mid. I tell you, that sounds great. So you can go from that kind of like that really clean sound to in all fairness, I'd be tempted to leave it on all the time, and that would be my clean tone because it's really dynamic. Like, if you play lightly, it goes clean, and then the more you dig in, the more it barks at you. So that's making me think, if I was to use this pedal, that's how I'd have it set. I'd basically crank it, and again, leave it on all the time, because that sounds immense. It's really dynamic to my playing, and it just sounds great through the amp. I just love the way it sounds, and it really barks when you want it to. Be great for kind of blues stuff if I crank the reverb. That's wicked, because again, I've got no need to go to the volume control to alter the volume levels of what I'm doing. This is definitely one of those overdrives that I'd leave on all the time. It's like the Golden Plexi, the Jackhammer, those kind of things. There are certain overdrives. I remember I used to have a Boss Super Overdrive, a yellow pedal. That was a pedal that I would turn off and on, but this is not one of those. This is how I'd run this. I'd run the amp very clean, and then crank this over the top. almost like the rumble. Again, look, these lighter you play. This is one awesome overdrive pedal. It's really dynamic. Always good, always good. I'm going to have to plug a Les Paul into this in a second. So, I want to hear it. So let's try these different settings quick before we try the Walter boost. So, I'm just happy. That's how I would have that set. Literally, as long as the amp's doing that kind of clean thing, which every amp does, I'd be happy with that. That is my God, that is a great sound. So, three-way switches in the middle. Let's put it down. Is this for the boost? Because it doesn't seem to do much outside of that. So let's put the boost in. Oh my God! He's not getting this pedal back. See, now this is one of those pedals where this side would be my always on, and then I would kick this in for distortion. So this would be my clean tone. And then if I wanted distortion, I'll just smack on the Walter side. What the three-way switch does though, but either way, see that kind of the boost on this pedal, because the pedal's already kind of overdriven. The boost side is just giving me all I would want, kind of tight to add over the top of that overdrive sound, and it's giving me that really nice palm mute. If I put my guitar's volume on 8, it gives me that really nice palm mutey sound. Then crank it to 10, it goes even crazier. Mega! That's a sound. That pedal is amazing. The dude. I can see why it's called the dude. It is a dude. Seriously though, people, this is a pedal, like I say, most of these pedals, apart from the fuzz, which I would turn off and on, the treble boost I'd leave on all the time. This one I would leave on all the time as well, just on that, on the normal side. And then basically stick on the Walter side, just basically kick it over the falls if I wanted to solo. Another thing as well, it feels great under your fingers, and it's really quiet. That's flat on. Like, this is off, and this is on. And I've just realised you can use the Walt of the boost side pretty clean. That's cool. So you can use them independently as well. So that's even cooler. So I'm loving this pedal, people. This is my favourite pedal so far that we've played today. The dude, especially that sound. That has got cut for days. There's no way you're not going to be heard with that pedal. This pedal stays with me forever and a day, I tell you. It's not going anywhere. That is... If it sounds great through this... Well, this amp takes pedals and it sounds great anyway. But if it sounds great through this one, it'll sound great through everything you see here. My God! I want to play again. Every now and then, you plug in a pedal and it just blows your tiny little brain. I'm looking at Queenie, by the way, because she's there smiling at me. And this is that pedal today. Very cool. Very cool. Heaven. These all together would make... In all fairness, this... a DS2, a wah pedal, and a delay. I'd be happy. That'd be... In all fairness, I would happily go to a gig with just this, and I'd be happy. I'd miss my wah, though. But I could always do pseudo wah, where you could do that. Oh, we have an arm. But it's a lot more difficult. I suppose you can do that as well. If you want to break your selector switch. But that sounds immense. Stop, Dave, stop. Okay, so this is amazing. I am ridiculously in love with this pedal. It's just one of the best things since sliced bread. Who was the person who invented sliced bread? Were they just like eating just loaves? If you went and like bought a loaf of bread, you had to eat the whole thing. Because, oh, we can't cut it. No, you can't cut it. You just have like 2 slabs of bread. I'll have a slab of bread, please. Anyway. What's that got to do with anything? Anyway! Yeah, this pedal rules the day, Pooh. So, like I say, that's how I'd set this the amp up for this. I'm not sure what the freeway selector switch does, because it doesn't seem to do anything. I'm going to have to talk to Mr. John about that, because I'm not sure what it does. But, yeah, he's not getting this pedal back. This one's staying with me forever. It's just the way it is. From now on, this is just mine. Anyway, one more G chord, just because. Anyway, I waffle on enough. So anyway, people tubes, hope there's something in this video. But like I say, this is how I would set up these pedals if I was going straight into an amp. Like, this is how I set up pedals anyway. Like I say, if it's an overdrive, invariably I want the amp to be kind of clean because I want the pedal to do the job. Like I say, this would be basically always on. I would never turn this off. And why would you with a sound like that? You must be mad. I would basically leave this on all the time. Same thing with Treble booster, but I would set the amp a lot darker than it is now. So set the amp really dark because, again, being a Treble booster, it's going to bring up those highs and push the amp. So I don't want it to get fizzy and nasty. And as for Mr. Fuzz, I would basically just kind of like have the amp overdriving. And again, I'd be overdriving for the Treble booster as well. But not distorted and just let the fuzz go, basically, is what the key there. Although I do run my fuzz on my pedalboard in a weird way, but I'll talk about that in another video. Anyway, PeopleTube, I hope there's something in this video that's informative and interesting. I don't know, maybe I'm just talking nonsense. But I thought it'd be cool just to like, not just kind of like to show you these 3 new pedals from Hubcap John, but to really talk about how I dial them in. Because every single one of these, I would set the amp differently. I wouldn't set the amp the same way for either one of these. I wouldn't just like set it on that setting and that's it. I couldn't do that. It'd drive me mental, especially with a fuzz and a Treble booster, because that just sound horrible to me. And the fuzz wouldn't respond the way I wanted to, and the Treble booster wouldn't respond the way I wanted to. So, I don't know, for what it's worth. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this vid, people too. If you like the vids I do here, please consider becoming a patron at Patreon. Link to that description box below down there, as well as link to Bandcamp and Teespring, which is just not working. But, you know, I can't get more stuff on there for some reason. It's just being weird. Anyway, yeah, is there anything else to say? No, apart from I love this pedal. Yes. Any pedal that does that makes me happy. I want it. Anyway, I have problems and I like it. Okay, so anyway, moving along. So, I hope you enjoyed this vid. Makes a loud noise. Yeah, I'll see you again for another one. Have a great morning, afternoon, good evening. I don't know why I did that. Olay. Goodbye now. Hope you do.